I repeat, good morning, everyone. So thank you very much for confirming. So we are starting with the section to data quality management. Quick topic to discuss about Informatica data quality management. So let me quickly introduce that what I'm going to cover as this unit is concerned. So a lot of topics are there. It's a very big thing to discuss about. We're going to cover some basic concepts over here to start with the introduction to data quality management. So they look forward in data quality management. Will understand the impact of poor data quality. What are the dimensions of data quality? What is the quality problems? What are the organization problems? And what are the role-based collaboration and data quality management process happens with Informatica. So we have a separate tool over here called Informatica Developer. So we'll be focusing on to Informatica Developer tool today. On the day we talked about the capacity of Informatica Developer tool to work with big data. So it is the same tool which we are going to work with the data quality in the today's session. To start with, let me quickly introduce that what is the data quality management. So quality management, our idea is that we are going to set the process which will measure and improve the quality of data on the ongoing basis. So we will look for various ways, a lot of demonstrations I will try to do with you to make you understand that how you can improve the quality of the data. And what various dimensions, so what is expected out of you from the perspective of data quality. We ensure that the data-dependent business processes and applications will deliver the expected results because we are not going to put a data which is a bad. So we will always look for that data which is good data. And we are going to build our master data using the data quality management. So it's a very right tool to build your master data. So many of the data-dependent business processes like product manufacturing, CRM, data mining, direct marketing, call center automations are this which have benefited from the data quality management. So more better you have, the more expected results you're going to. Okay, so that's what we call TQ over here. And then let me introduce the 6 dimensions of data quality. So we talk about when we will start working with data quality, we are expected to look for these 6 dimensions. There's completeness, consistency, accuracy, duplicate, and integrity of the data. As far as completeness is concerned, so we are going to find the missing or data. Now, under the conformity, we are going to find the data which is in non-standard formats. We're going to find the conflicting information. We are going to data which is incorrect and out of date. We go on to the duplicate part of it, and we are going to talk about the integrity of the data. So these are the 6 dimensions of typical data quality. So the organization for data, it is expected that this data must go check through 6 dimensions: completeness, conformity, consistency, accuracy, duplicacy, and integrity. Where typically the completeness, conformity, consistency, and accuracy comes under the category called data standardization. So you will be expected to standardize the data. You will be expected to deduplicate the data. So there will be the 2 mid jobs which is expected out of you. So, the hierarchy. So completeness, conformity, consistency, accuracy, that is your data standardization process, deduplicating, consolidating the data for the integrity purpose. So this is what we look at from this product. When data comes to us, the data comes to us in various formats. So this is a very, very good example screen for us. I love this screen very much. The data quality problem. I found over here there was a sheet, Excel sheet which came to us. And as this Excel sheet came to us, this is a kind of a format, we can see that there is a lot of problems into the data. A lot of problems into data, as you can see over here. So let me put it in a very, very interesting fashion here. The data which come to me, and this data is full of issues. If somebody is live, how can his turnover be zero? Last invoice date is this. So we are having a very interesting interpretation over here. So a turnover zero, still it is a live, and how can be a turnover zero which you have a last invoice number? So we have a completeness issue over here, and some data is missing here. So we call it that a data is missing, and if the data is missing, then issues like you can see over here, customer status, everyone not able to hear you. Wow, for only two. Can somebody inform me if I'm audible? The kind of form. So I have a word yes from so people. So our team I really says no. So please check for end. I'm aware. So I am audible. So I request you to check the sound out here. Wonderful. Thank you very much for confirming the team Bangalore and Ravi. Thank you very much because I got a message from someone that I was not audible. A really team wrote about it. So good. So now you're looking over here that if we see in this particular example, I love this slide. Something which is live, the turnover of 120. How can the last invoice date is missing for it? So that's a challenge. That's a data quality problem. What we have to do is we have to make sure that we get this missing data. That is completeness. But the data conformity. So I got a beautiful example over here. So I was looking here road, I was looking here street, and about come care of Phillips Jones here. So I was not expecting care of Phillips Jones. So it was not expected into the data. So this is the data is full of so that's an interesting one. Oops. How can be a BK engineering be a person, and how can a Martin Thatcher be a business? There's the issue of consistency. Sorry. The issue of consistency here. The data is not consistent. Engineering is a business, while Martin Thatcher is a business. Wow, I love that part. Looking at duplication of the data over here, so let me see over here. So this is duplication. So this record and this record seems to be duplicate record. 185 whoops. Person Molyneux, Christopher Molyneux. Oh, these two records seems to be pretty duplicate records. So we have to the deduplication of these records. So, and we have to find out. Oops, this record I love this one. This part. William Tolliver, same address. Wow, all exactly same address. What person, which record to be kept? That is called about integrity. Should we keep the records or should we keep one record? And if we want to keep one record, which record is to be kept? That we call over here is integrity of the data. So your data comes with a lot of issues. And what we have to do is we have to those data problems. That is what we call data standardization. There's conformity, consistency, and accuracy, and duplicating the data. So that's a very, very common objective of data quality. That's what we call 6 dimensions of data quality, and we are expected to work with these 6 dimensions of data quality. So what Informatica does here, that Informatica help us to make a collaborative approach. We provide you with the three so we got these are the three roles to be talk about. So what we call it here, the role number one is called analyst. So we got analyst here. And we call another role over here, this role is what we call steward role. So we got steward. The role over here called developers. So we got three roles over here to work with. Work onto these three roles. So analyst, developer, and steward, and they speak to each other. So they communicate with each other very well. So that's kind of a collaboration we have in Informatica data quality tool, developer tool. So analyst is what we call as expert. You can get more expert very easy. Wonderful. Let me put another name to it. So many people call it as a business user. So here's how the population's very well. So that's a SME or a business user. The steward here, who typically I call it as a data owner. He data very well. So he is one who owns the data. So he's a data owner and belongs to analyst team. Well, he belongs to analyst team. So we got subject matter expert, that is a business user. The developer, who is developer? He knows Informatica very well. There's a person who knows Informatica very well. So he is the one who knows Informatica and knows how to use product. So he works very well. So he got an Informatica over here. So Informatica developer. So he knows how to correct data. So he is the one who knows how to correct the data. So he will to correct the data over here for us. Wow. So collaboration over here. So analyst speaks to developer, the developer in turn speaks to steward, and it goes keep on moving. So we got three over here: analyst role, developer role, and we got a steward role to work with. So students the data. This is how it looks like into it. Analyst, developer, and steward. This industry is now looking forward for a very interesting part. So I just give you a pause over here for people facing a new challenge. Please check your end. So there's a problem with the audio with somebody. He is not able to, but I believe I'm audible. So I just go back to him. So this is what we have as analyst, developer, and the steward role which is available to us. That's what we call collaboration over here. So we've got a very, very good collaboration between different users here. So this data management process works. We have very good collaboration between the analyst and the developer. So what we look over here, that we identify the measure the data quality problems, then find data quality rules and goals. Then we define the data quality processes. We collaborate with business user and implement it, and the data quality versus goals. So this is how our data quality management process works. Do the job, and we offer various kinds of process to do this particular job. So over here on the right hand side, we got a beautiful one. We got profiling. The profiling is a tool which is typically used by analysts to identify the problems. After identifying the problems, what is going to do is going to define the rules and the goals for the developer. The developer improves the quality of the data and give it back to the analyst. Analyst and developer sits back and collaborate with each other. how much data we can make it more better. And lastly, we have to monitor the data. So we are monitoring of the data with the goal to be done. So we Informatica Data Quality Developer Tool provides you with variety of options or helps you to do these kinds of jobs. So analyst identifies the jobs because he's a business user, he's a fitness expert who knows the population behavior very well. After knowing the population behavior, he passes this information to the developer. The developer improves the process and give it back to the scenario that let's sit and make this process more better. And then we keep on monitoring the things from one place to another place to do the job. Good. It's a time for a quick pause over here. Any questions here, please? I think so there should be question here. So let me try to answer those questions here. Any questions here, please? But three ways, rather we can call it the analyst and his team is there, and the developer and his team is there. So they are the two ones. So they are monitoring, they are identifying, and they are designing the improvement process. So we are good into it. We can. So any questions if comes to your mind, it's a good time to ask me that question, please. So any questions here, or otherwise I'll move to the next part of my program now. So let me check. I'm just sharing a quick slide with you because I'm going to do a lot of demonstration with you now. So without demo, it will be a little difficult for me to put up the ideas with you. So let me go directly into the really part of it. Any question here, if you have any time, please send it across to I will be in good position to answer your questions, to take this question quickly. So I'm almost there, ready with my next part of the course. Wow, so good. I am live. To start with data profiling, I'm almost live with you guys now, and so my board there are ready now. So I am online now with you. Okay, good. So developer profiling. So let me give you some ideas that how does the things work for us. So we have the next part over here that how does the things look like here. Well, we got question, where is a steward? So let me put that. The steward is one of the person which is associated with the analyst. So he belongs to the analyst team. So steward is always a part of analyst part. So since this question is asked, let me put it in easy fashion for you. So the typical mentality of the people is here is that the data could be of two types. That's a typical mentality. If I ask a question, since I don't have time, so I'm not going into deep into it. So clear that data can be categorized as good. So that's how it's talks about it. So this is how what we see. The data is good and bad. No, we don't look anymore the data like this. We say that the data is either good or it's bad. And we know that there is a data which has always an option of review. The data is not categorized as good and bad. Nowadays, the data is categorized as yellow and bad. And when you green, yellow, and bad over here, so that's a very interesting aspect of industry now. If we say that if the record is more than 95% good, shut into a target. And we have an option over here that if the record is less than 90%, it will be bad and it should be rejected. quality of the data. So if the data is 95% good, put it into the target. 95% data of an individual is available to me. Very good example. I am working for a mutual fund. A customer has supplied me with 95% of his information. That's wonderful for me. Even if it's small information is missing, I don't mind that. So let's keep this record as a good record. But if my customer has provided me less than 90% of the information, then I can reject this record. But being 90 to 95%, there's an opportunity for review. You have an opportunity of a review over here. Opportunity of a review part over here. So what we will do is that we are going to send this record for a review. So we are not simply rejecting this record. So we record as a good record, we got a record as a bad record. And in the days we are going to send this record for purpose of review. As review will be done by a data steward. So back to the system, we'll show that we are not rejecting it. So there's an ambiguity over here. And there is an ambiguity over here. We are going to give it to the steward. And the steward is the data owner will take a review. Should we keep it as a good record or should we keep it as a bad record? So it's more like a manual review what is done nowadays. Share, please. That steward comes into the picture. It can be in any financial companies or any product company wherever you have more than 95% information, you will say it's good. But if you have a benchmark, if it's less than 90% good, you will reject it. But 90 to 95% we have an ambiguity here. That's basically what we call as a scoring mechanism. And using that scoring mechanism, we will be able to do that particular job. Okay. Yeah. Please. Expecting some questions. So steward is one of the team member of analyst. And we have a separate tool for each one of them. So we give a separate tool to analyst, we give a separate tool to developer, and we give a separate tool to data steward to fix the data. He manually actually goes and manually plays with the data. He manually fixes the data. So that's more like a manual review kind of job which is by a steward. Okay, good. How could we make sure? So we got another question over here from Bangalore. So I request that whenever you ask a question, that should ask it for everyone. So that's fine. So let me push the question for everyone. How to make sure about the percentage of data quality? So not a very big issue. So it's kind of a scoring mechanism. So we put Bangalore team, we put a scoring mechanism. So let's take an example. We have 10 columns. So we will put it like that. We will give 10 marks to each column. And if 9 columns are populated, we will say it's 90% good. If it is less than, or we can have a weighted average. So that's a easy one to give us scoring. So that's what we call as a scoring mechanism. So what over here is we can check with the weightage algorithm. So what part of data is more important and what part is. So it's just like a simple expression calculation can be done to calculate the scoring. So that's not a very difficult job. So if you do a full course with us, they teach you how to do that particular part. What are different parameters used for data quality check? So there's another question which is very interesting. What are the different parameters used for data quality check? So I told you that as we started with the class, we are looking for 6 dimensions of data quality. So probably our early team might have joined a little late, so this question has come. So we got 6 parameters, that is consistency, conformity, completeness, accuracy, duplicate and integrity. So these are the 6 parameters used for data quality check. So these are actually the 6 dimensions which are expected to check for data quality. Let me put it into a very easy way to answer the question which the early team has asked, that in the quality you will be expected to standardize the data and you will be expected to deduplicate the data. So two answers to it. That's what we call data quality. Standardize the data and deduplicate the data. That is the larger expectation of any of the organization as far as data quality check is concerned. That is all about exception handling. The diagram which currently I'm showing you is what we call exception handling. So what we do is we did a kind of exception handling to handle this particular job. In future, just coming into the next few slides, I'm going to explain you that a couple of examples which comes. So sorry, earlier I will be not in position to show you that how the percentage of data quality is done, but in very good position at least to answer you different parameters used for data quality checks that I can help you out. Or the next few examples will speak about those part over here. Okay, you have a question here, please. So you're most welcome for that one. Profiling, wonderful. So we are going to understand a wonderful part over here. How does we start with the data quality process? So I keep myself a little short on what we call as onto the through the slides. I'll keep more concentration on showing you how does it work. So we quickly give you the idea here very easily. Let me make it simple to give them demonstration so that your life becomes very, very easy. So what there we got a bad data here. We put out the data which is really a bad data. So really a bad data over here. And since we have a bad data over here, so what we are going to do is the next step is to find into it. So we're going to look at what are the different types of errors into it. So we are going to find errors into it. Or it's a wonderful word, we are going to find anomalies into it. So what are various anomalies into it? After finding these anomalies, we are going to give it to data, further give it to developer. So developer will be expected to fix this data. And fixing this data, we are going to put it into so that data, we find the errors and we will give it to the developer. Then we'll fix those errors and we'll push it into the target. And then we again go back into the target and we will start with the cycle again. Data, find error, fix, developer will fix it and put it into the target. What he is going to do is developer is going to fix his what we call as a 6 dimensions here. So we are going to speak about the 6 dimensions over here. So we work on to the 6th dimension of data quality. So we are going to check the subparameters. We are going to check it against 6 dimensions. Consistency, completeness, conformity, and accuracy of the data. To check, and we pretend deduplicating the data. So that will be deduplicated. We will find duplicate error. We will consolidate the data. Do job. So that is what we call as a data quality 6 dimensions check. And to find errors, what we typically do is we use a tool called So then we will start from understanding what is profiling over here. So profiling. I'm going to touch areas of profiling and I'm going to check this class about data standardization here. You can standardize the data. So one of the demos I'm going to give you as a demonstration over here will be our data. So how can you standardize the data? Standardize. So see for the most problem. So find the errors using a profiling and we will fix the developer and we push it into the target. That's what we look. So that's one of the examples where we are going to see that we're going to speak about developer profiling, that how does a developer profiles the data over here. So The time is small and expectation is big. So let me take you to the expected place over here. And let me introduce you to the Informatica developer client. So we had a little look onto this client on day one, because this was the client of choice where we work with the Informatica BDM edition. So in the BDM, we push the data into one. So let me start here with you. So you'll enjoy this example. So I went into the model repository service here and we log in into the system. So I'll do a complete exercise with you, sir, so that you can understand the idea behind Informatica data quality. So we went over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a quick project for you. So I'm going to start with a very, very basic. I'm starting with a new project and give it the name of the project called LNT. Sir, I am sir, because I see most of the participants from LNT, so I put it for LNT. Project with the name called LNT. So this is a project, and in this project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch some data. Let me fetch some data which is a kind of a bad data with us. So data object, getting a flat file data object for you. So I'm going to get a flat file for you to start with. And I went into the next and browse. Very simple example to start with. So I got some data and I'm going to fetch some file which is really a bad file. So we are on version 10.1 here. So I'm teaching you with version 10.1.0. So Informatica 10.1.0, we go into the clients and we are looking for a developer client. We are looking for some tutorials and we got some data which belongs to Los Angeles customers. So some data which is from our customers and I say open. Next over here, where my idea is that it is a delimited one. Yes, it is a delimited one. Double quotes, input column name from the first line. Yes. And in case you want to change some data type here, you can do and you can say finish over here. So that over here. So we got a physical data object over here with the name called LA customer. And what I can do is at any point of time, I can go into data viewer and I can view how does the data look like. Run over here to see that how does my data look like over here. Reading the data, LA customer, we try to see that how does the data look like here, and I run the LA customer and we see that some data is there. So you can see over here some data is coming here, blah, 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 some data is here, some data is here. Wow, not bad. Good. Let's see how good is this data. So we want to check before we start looking at the data. So what we do is we offer you over here. So this is the data from our customer, and it's very difficult for us to go and look each of the data. So what Informatica data quality offers you is the first thing that we do is we right click on LA customer and we do a profile here. So file onto a data. I started with a profile and do the column profile onto my data. So just keeping everything in so I profile my data. So the idea of profiling the data is to find anomalies into the data. So I quickly profile the data to find the anomalies. And let me show you how does Informatica show you the anomalies here. So go to the results. Profile results, and I'm going to expect a wonderful answer over here. So this is how the profile results come to us. ID. We have 500 distinct values and all the customers are distinct. All belong to some region, blah, blah, blah. So let me pick the first value for you over here. This is how the population has behaved for you for the country. These are the distinct values out of which 469 people have used a word called US. 11 people have put 9. People have put USA. 7 population behavior is U.S.A. And the 4 people have behaved like U.S. Wow. So this is what we got. So rather than looking at data, I profile the data to see that how does data look like. So now let me show you another part called currency over here. So I took you to the currency. And this is what the people have put the value. About 479 people have used the currency called GSD. Many people have not supplied the value, and one people has written H, and one person has written to be confirmed. So we are looking at a profile results, and from the profile results, we are able to find out what those people what are. Let's see that. Who is this guy H? Well, so I can right click over here and say drill down. So right click over here and I drill down onto the data. I drill down onto the data for H, so I can see that this was a person whose name is Rick Goose, belongs to a company called Conifer, which has done this job. It's a guy who has put the data to be a currency. So what I can do over here is looking at his information, I can do something on the top of it. So looking at it, what I can do is I can define his currency over here. So who is this guy who has said to be confirmed? So we give you the drill down over here, and we see that there's a guy from Los Angeles region whose name was Daniel Dio. This is the guy, the CCO, who has put this value. Wow. So we are profiling over here to find how does the data look like. So we do the results in the terms of values. So you can profile the data and you can check the results in the terms of values, that what are the various values available to you. Let me do another example with you. I went to the customer ID here, and we found that the people have used different types of customer IDs here. And what it is, we can change this value and we can change these details, that rather than showing me the values, why don't you show me the patterns? So it shows me that all the numbers are following the same pattern, are all numeric with the digits. I got that answer. This means all customer IDs are numeric and following the same fashion. But if I take you to some of another example over here, the date. So you can see over here that this is the pattern which is followed by the date. So it is following this pattern for date 99/99/99. And if I check out the amount, the pattern of the amount is like this. That 412 people have put 45 digits, 65 of them have put about 4 digits in amount, and some 18 people have put a single digit. People have put 3 digits, and one person has put the 9 as a 6 digit. Pre-delivery method. This is another way that one of the patterns the people are following over here, where the X indicates the character and Y indicates the numeric value used into it. So we can give you the results in the terms of values, results in the terms of patterns. Not this part. So we show you that what are the patterns being followed by the end user. Or custom region. So most of the people have, all of them have followed the same pattern. Los Angeles. So if I take you the value, you can see that everybody has put this value called Los Angeles. And if I look at customer ID, pattern is good. This we can offer you all the statistics over here. So these are average, standard deviation, maximum, minimum. We bottom 5 and we offer you top 5 values in terms of statistics. Plus we can give you the data types over here, that what are the different data types criteria, that this field would have been into this data type, what would have been the advantage over here. So finds how to find anomalies into the data. We find these anomalies into the data, you give this data for the next level to check. Can be exported. So you can export data to a file, and even this data can be exported and can be sent. So the result can be exported. So your values can be exported to, oh, wow, I love this. Customer tier. So people have used these values. So 118 people have used diamond, 2D, AMOLED, C4 with bronze, and we got a couple of other options over here. So we got 8 silver. I can go into silver. I can right click on silver and say drill down here. Okay, so drill down over here. I can see that these are the people at the bottom. One who has used their silver. So these are the ones which are the silver ones with me. For example, over here, that's a good one to be talk about. Could be a zip code. So I went into a zip code. So there's a value, so we can see that this is the value for the zip, and I can go into the pattern over here and show you that how the people have used. So there are the people who have used the 955 character zip. There are 88 people who have used 95 hyphen 94. So 9594 means 5 numeric values, 4 numeric values. And there's this one person who has used 95/94 into the data. So do a profiling. What I'm going to do is I'm able to find the anomalies into my data. So that was the first step for is to find the anomalies. So what typically developers do over here is he do a developer profiling, and with the developer profiling he tries to find the anomalies. So let me profiling data. Profiling is the analysis of the data quality based on the content, not on the structure of the data. We have seen over here that I was not looking at the structure of the source. Not looking at the structure of the source, I was taking a decision that where the errors. It's looking at the data, discovering the physical characteristic of each column. We are able to collect statistics and information. I will understand the type of issue, what they exist. We assess the level of quality, including whether the data conforms to a particular standard or pattern. We define if the data can be used for other purposes or not. Get an enterprise view of all the data for the master data management and data governance. Is the tool we start with profiling. So that's how the profiling works. So I give you one of the good demo that how typically the profile works. So we do a lot of profiling over here. So we can do the profiling between two objects also, or a single object also, and we do a profiling on multiple objects in that particular case. So as a team lead skilled university here, we recommend you that you should do a 4 days program with us to understand a deeper dive onto Informatica developer data quality course. It's a 4 days course where we cover all 360-degree of Informatica data quality. Right from profiling, then we talk about join analysis, we talk about overlap analysis. Yes, we can do it between objects also. So for joining two objects, we can do a join analysis. Before merging the objects, we can do overlap analysis between them. We can do profiling on multiple objects. We can do profile on a single object. And we also allow you to do midstream profiling. So as you are preparing your flow, you do a midstream profiling with us. So typically the first step is to do a profiling. So this is we do profiling. We do allow you to do drill options. We allow you to do sampling on the top of it. So that's how the results look like to you. You can do column profiling with us. We will show you the results in terms of value, patterns, and frequencies. And those can be drilled down also. So that is the first step of data quality, to find the anomalies. And in the anomalies, the tool which we offer you is known as profiling. The profiling tools comes with data quality. Questions here? Good. So the first demo to find the anomalies. In my subsequent classes, I'm going to fix those anomalies for you. Any question here, please? Have any questions? While these, I'll move to the next part, is data standardization here. help you to make standardize your data. So after profile, we are going to ask developer to fix the data where there are anomalies. One of the examples where I'll keep on showing you that where are the problems in the data, and we are going to make them a good one to work with. Wow. Solutions. I was expecting a lot of questions for profiling. Wow. Good. So let me move to the next part. So we talked about profiling over here. So that's done from my side. Let me move to the next part for you now then. So because I do not have much time and I want to give you maximum over here, so let me start with another example with you of profiling. So we have done a profiling, and let me pick another data for you over here. So we got one data. Let me see if I can give a good data for you. So yes. Okay, so now good data over here with me. Okay, so can we publish this catalog or do we get graphical representation of data profiling? So can we publish this as a catalog or do we get a graphical representation for data profiling? So you can export the profile results, so that can be done. So the graphical presentation, yes, you can do. So we allow you to export the profile. So results can be exported. File queries that can be saved. Without issue, how do we file queries that can be saved in a file and fired all together like a script file? Who asked me this question? I love this person. Really asked me. Yes, sir, you can run a profile from command line in FastCMD command. And that is to be done on OLTP or it is done on data warehouse, data mart. So we don't mind it. Wherever you want to do it, you can do it. So like EMAS, whether it is to be done on OLTP or in data warehouse and data mart. Typically data mart and data warehouses should have data. So it's typically done on OLTP where the data is bad. So the catalog can be published and we can get a graphical representation of this data profiling. So what we do is that, let me answer step by step 3 questions were there. So Vignesh has asked me this particular part. Copy and let me paste it over here. So can we publish this catalog or do we get a graphical representation of this data profiling? So 2 parties over here. You can publish a data profiling result, we don't mind. You can save data profiling results. But what we do is that if you want to have a graphical representation of data profiling, we have a mechanism. So we do not do reporting using data profiling. We prefer you to use another methodology. That is what we call scorecarding. So we prefer scorecarding over profiling if you want a really kind of a report. So scorecarding is a better mechanism. So can you through the query? The answer is yes. So it's not query. I don't know whether I really want to say that how to fire queries that can be saved in a file and fired all together like a script. So probably can we run this profile from outside Informatica? So really I'm correct, you can let me know. So maybe you want to run this profile from outside Informatica like a client. So answer is yes. We give you InfoMD command and using InfoMD command you can run a profile by getting a script out of it. Right, so that can be done. So that's not a problem with us. So if this was your question, I'm good. If I'm able to answer your question, reframe your question in that case. But yes, the profile results can be exported and be done, and we cannot run it from outside Informatica developer client also. So you schedule it and you can run it from different places. That's not a challenge. But graphical representation, we have scorecards. Scorecards is one of the beautiful ways of working with it. So the graphical representation scorecards. Okay, good. Start with a new job now. So if you are going to any other question, please, you are welcome with the question, please. Let's start with the next part of my course, that is what we call as standardization. So I would like to give them a feel and look of data standardization. keep on telling you how the things goes. So let me give you one feel and look, a very, very interesting look where we got a really shabby data. I'm going to work on to this part. So I'm not planning to show you the slides, but I'm planning to show you the some demonstrations. So some data over here. So let me quickly get that data for you. Get this data over here. So very typical tendency of the person is that whenever you get the data here, so you go and right click over here and say run data viewer. So run data viewer gives you the results of the data. So typical way of working with the data set. So you got a data object and you work with the data object in a fashion that fetch your data to work with. So we got it over here. Bad idea. I typically tell people don't do like this. What you do is right click over here, do a profile now. So it gives you the more idea whatever anomalies into it. So this is what we call midstream profiling. So see that as I will start developing my job, so I keep on profiling my data to see that how does it look like. So I went into the register over here to show you the couple of demos which I'm going to do for you. I went over here. I see that there's a lot of data over here. The two examples which I'm going to give you over here is, the first is what I'm going to show you over here is in the terms of the name. So let me pick company. So you can see over here that we got some values for the company over here. Some values of the company over here. So some of the examples which I'm going to share with you over here is like this. See that there's a company called A&P. Looking down over here, so we got more flavors of A&P over here. A&P space dot, we got A&P apostrophe S, A&P, and we can see that we are starting with the total number of distinct values for the company is 380. So 180 companies which are available to us. So the distinct values which are there is about 380 distinct values are there right now into my source system. Yes, the other thing which we want to show you over here is another example that if you see over here, the country. So you can check whatever the various way that people have used currency. UAE, GBP, people have used US, some of them have used US, some are missing, some have used GB value here. Whatever. And if I give another column called country column, so you can see into the country column as some people have used USA, some people have used UK, some people have used United States, some have, this is the population behavior that the population has put value into them. So I can't stop them. And another example I would like to give you is a phone number. So if you ever hear that, how does the people put the phone numbers in various fashions? So please show me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somebody has put 2 or 2. If I take you to the patterns here, just in the terms of patterns, so you can see that what the distinct patterns people are following up. First particular, just for a minute, please. 2, 3. So I'm back. So you have a different pattern which is being put in the telephone number by users. So you have actually spelled the phone number. So see that there are multiple patterns which people have put into. Wow, it looks really, really weird. So really weird over here that the people are in different patterns. So there's no standardization across the things. That there's various forms, and the first step is to standardize this data. So like this data, a profile comes to my rescue. And ladies and gentlemen, with due respect, I'm starting with 380 distinct companies. So right now, my companies are 380 distinct companies' values are there with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here that there are 380 distinct companies can be pattern. Okay. Wow. A question here before I move to my next demo here to standardize this data. So it's over here. So we got a question over here, how the custom profile can be created rather than selecting default profile. So Tiruvari, we will appreciate that in case you will do a course with us, then we can teach how to make a customized profile. So it will be not possible for me to cover everything into this small demo session. So there's a note from my team that how custom profile can be created rather than selecting a boss profile. Just like it's an easy job, just customizing certain of the properties, we can do that. So I'm sorry, it will be not in my queue right now. Because a little bit about the standardization and deduplicating of data. So maybe Team Engineering, you can come back to me for some private session. I'm in a very good position to teach you how to work with different profiling mechanism with the Informatica data quality developer tool. I'll still with this question here because it needs its own explanation time. The question here, we can take this question on one of the session which we planned for you in that case. So you request my training team to just put one profiling session for you, and I'll be in good position to take you all applying parts in that case. So wow, let me do something very, very interesting with you. So I'm adding one of the transformation here called Standardizer Transformation. So let me start with a couple of demos with you to make your life very interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to standardize one of the column over here, and the name of the column which I shared with you was the company. So I dragged the company here. So this is the column which I'm planning to standardize for you. So what I'm going to, so the data quality provides us with variety of transformations. So we got different types of transformations here. And these transformations, what we do is we are able to carry out the job. So in the data standardization, using a data standardization process, we're in good position to help you and sort you out with the various data standardization process. So we got the important part for any of these data standardizations. So once data is standardized, you'll be able to find out the anomalies out of it. So quickly anomalies can be taken care of it from the perspective. Data standardization, what we do is we offer a variety of transformations. So it's not only one, but there are a number of transformations which are available, which are provided by Informatica to help you for standardizing the data. So that gets standardized. So it becomes a good data, and it's almost data. So standardization process itself means checking for completeness, conformity, consistency, and accuracy of the data. So that's how it looks like. So we use a lot of reference data to do this particular job in that case. Looks like, so we're going to standardize the data, and standardization of the data is not done with a transformation, but it is actually done with the help of number of transformations which is provided by so there are some many key standardization transformations are there. So let me give you some of the transformations which we are going to really cover in our course. So we have a lot of transformations like case converter, transformations like labeler, transformations like classifier, transformations like merge, we have transformation like standardizers and decisions. So different types of transformations. These transformations help you to transform the data. So I was to give you at least a couple of examples on these few of them. Part of classroom agenda, I just put a standardizer for you, which is we are going to remove the noise from the field. What we are going to do. I'm going to example. I'm going to talk about a labeler. So do this for you that how does the things look like in the case. So I put a transformation here called a standardizer transformation, where my idea is to check for the completeness, conformity, consistency, and the accuracy of the data. So challenges we are going to understand. So right click, profile now. So I filed it. I tell you that what is my agenda over here. Two examples which I'm going to cover in the next 30 minutes with you. They will be wonderful wow examples for you. So we in the profile, we know that there are 80 distinct companies in my data right now. found that the name of these companies are little so you can see over here AMP down, so you can see that where the various ways the people have used. Oh, and so you can be very, very interesting to see. So somebody has put A and P also. So the population behavior, the population has behaved very different. Another example which I'm going to take is about a phone number, and in the phone number I'm going to show you that wherever the people are following different patterns. And I made these phone numbers of a common pattern. So there are the two areas which I'm going to check. Do mapping for you. So back in the mapping, standardizer, properties. Strategies. We have an inbuilt business logic for you, so you don't need to worry about writing the business logic, a hefty code. Typically, what you write is a set of regular expressions, many things to make it happen. So we have got these pre-built strategies for you to do the job. So I'm going to make one first strategy for you. My input is company, and I'm going to set no delimiter and remove trailing and leading spaces. So function, ask him to remove the trailing and leading spaces. We give you the 5 options over here, operations. So I'm going to give you one example over here. I'm going to replace some custom string. I'm defining my strategy to replace some custom string. So I'm removing the noise. So some of the best practices of industry to remove the noise. And I say that, for example, that if you have 2, 3, 4 dots, that's a lovely one. 4 dots, or got 3 dots, or some 2 dots, or 3 commas, or 4 commas, or 3 commas, or 2 commas, or some spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2. Replace it with one blank space, so I put a blank space here. I said that my start scope is anywhere. So if anywhere you have dots, comma, or spaces, what do you remove them? That's a strategy I wrote. The strategy I say replace with a space. I click over here and I say run data viewer. Oh, sorry, it's bad idea. I should have right click over there and say profile now. Where I started with 380 distinct companies, let me see that if I remove some dot, what's my results now? Replacing with some noise, I got a good benefit now. Some 369 distinct values now. So that 11 benefit I got here. The good ones. So I got some 11 benefits. So we reach up to here. So we are making data going good. Just to make it more better, and I'm adding another strategy to it, and I'm going to say a new strategy that remove custom strings. So this time I'm going to remove something, and then I'm going to remove so just example. So I'm replacing. So the another one is removing the custom string. So I decided to remove the custom string. So I decided to remove the custom string, and I said finish over here. So let me see how good I have been. So I click over here and say profile now. So this is wonderful. So what I'm going to do over here is that as we talk about here, so replace custom string and remove. So what I found over here, that's very interesting. That from 369 we reach up to 331 distinct companies. There was a little bit of noise everywhere, and those noises were fixed up, and especially your AMP. Now this much of flavors. Our AMP flavors are these flavors now. Well, so we got AMP 68. So if I take you back over here, so actually when I started with here, company values, my AMP was 60. And when I did this standardizing putting, so I reach up to 68 version of it. So we got a frequency to be 60. So wherever there was those not there. So what I did was I was able to remove those noise from the system. So I removed those noises. And as we move further, what I'm going to do is over here is I'm going to add another strategy over here. So I remove the noise, and the next thing I'm going to do over here is the accuracy, and I right click over here and I say new matches with valid values. Wow. So you go to reference table, and a reference table, I'm going to pick a value over here. So we got content, theory, training. Let me see. We have standardized company names, and I said finish over here. That's the lovely part. So I put another strategy into place and right click over here, and I say profile now to see that how does it look like. So as I profile this now, so we started 380 distinct values, and ladies and gentlemen, we have reached up to a count. Let me see, what is the count now? Wow. Starting from 380, and we reach up to 197 distinct values. The actual A and P is 74 values with us. I love this way. We are able to do is we are able to achieve a good information. So as 50% we have been able to cover the data. So that's where we talk about the profiling. So what I showed you in this particular demo was the noises, how to complete. So we haven't talked about completeness, but we have talked about consistency and conformity of the data. So we have made data consistent and we have made it conform. So my data has now become A and P, which was initially not A and P, which was into various flavors. Some labs write A space capital A and then A and D and P. So we have to make it in a nice. Wow. So what we're able to do, put some strategies. Except completeness, I did everything. So completeness means if there would have been some noise. I will check for the noise part, but what I did is I removed the noise and I made the data accurate in this particular example. Wow. So a question here. And what is there in that reference table? I was expecting it. So I'm going to show you what is there in a reference table, that how does a reference table is created. Thank you very much for bringing to my notice. A typical reference table look like this. This is a reference table. And our reference table, that how does a reference table look like? So we went into the reference table, data, and I'll give you the value which I was working with, A and P. And field 1, and we go over here. So this is how the reference table looks for A and P. So I put all the flavors of A and P over here. So first what we did, we moved from data from, first we removed the noises, all the dots, the top spaces which were extra was there, and put all the population behavior, that the population behavior, and will be replaced by this value. So whenever this value is found in the table, it will be replaced. Okay, so now 2 questions over here. So everybody team, I request that please, whenever you write a question, write it for everyone. I'll do it for you. I've got 2 questions here. Let me start with it. File about 400 kbps, takes about 3 to 4 seconds, and for profiling. How to perform for GB and TB of data? So I really asked me this question. Performance is not an issue with Informatica. So we are known for our performance. So GBs and TBs of data is not a big deal for Informatica services. We have a concept called partitioning and other ways are there where we can. So TBs of data is not very, very big for data integration solutions. So don't expect, so these questions are not a big value. So that if your data is in exabytes, so you use it to run this in Hadoop mode, data addition. Other this GB to TB of data is not a big deal for us. are made for such a volume of data. Then the question, reference table comes with developer or client, or it is required to register externally? The interesting question. Actually, so what the Informatica do over here is Informatica give you a couple of reference table which is standard across the globe. But we don't know how does your population behave. So, to be honest, for this question, the table is created by analyst. The responsibility of analyst who knows the subject matter, or who a business user who knows how this population behaves. So put those answers to the population behavior into if you want me to have a very, very stupid example, I can give you a very, very stupid example. So we were doing one of the survey of the product, and in the survey of a product, there was a product called condom. And asked the population how they like to call the condom. So you will be very, very shocked to see that how is the population there. There was one person who called that, I call it umbrella. One person who called it that it is a chhatri. Another person who says I will call it gudara. So you know that how does your population behave. So we will expect that all the flavor of the population should come into it. Simply the reference tables are created by analysts who knows the population behavior very well. The population behaves. The Informatica gives you certain reference table, but which are very, very standard. Like for cities, we can give you country codes, or we can give you for some combinations, but beyond that. But yes, a few reference table which comes with Informatica. So if you see over here, so this is the others which comes with Informatica. Like century years, color days, currency codes, date to months, some very, very common reference tables comes with Informatica. Reference table is expected from analyst who knows the population behavior. So this is how the population behaves, and he put those values over there. Now another example, since you have asked about this question. So we have a reference table for a country code. So this is how he has done it for the country code. So let me put it like for USA. So if I do it for USA, so make sure that how does his people behave for USA. So they might say USA, they will say USA, US, United States, United States, and they will also say United States of America. Expected that first you move the noise, and then moving the noise, what you do is you refer to a reference table for a valid value. It works with us. Okay. So for address validation, do we have to buy a different reference table? Okay, so that's a good question, comes from the Hinjwai team. So team Hinjwai, what we do is that as an Informatica data quality, we have actually got a license from a third-party company called Address Doctor. So to have a license of Address Doctor with you, and a license of Address Doctor, this means all the reference tables for the Address Doctor will come to you directly. So we have a transformation called Address Validation Transformation. So using that address validation transformation, so that address validator, so here it is the transformation. In those we can validate your address using those address doctors. So it comes with a separate license of a product called Address Doctor. So third party engine Address Doctor to for your address validation. So we do not have our own address tables. So Doctor keeps on updating the data, and we refer that updated data for address validation purpose. But yes, then you need a license for Address Doctor in that case. So it's a very beautiful transformation, address validation. A brilliant transformation to work with. Beautiful one. See, did I lost the connection? Oops, no. Okay, let me go into the next demo for you. Any other question here, please? Yeah, any question here? So, okay, let me do another demo over here. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to speak about the phone numbers. So just because I have less time, so let me quickly do one more example. So I'm going to put out a transformation over here, and I put a labeler transformation. So that's another very interesting transformation with us. So I put a labeler over here, and then I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick a phone number here. I'm going to do a very interesting thing over here for you. So we got a phone number here, and number here. And I'm going to write a strategy for phone number here. So over here is I'm going to say that this number correct. So I say to label it using a character set. That is a very interesting feature that we have with our labeler. So I'm going to label character by character by each content of the phone number. So over here, I went over here, I said that whichever are the English alphabets, keep them as X. If there is a space, mark it as underscore, and wherever there is a symbol, mark it as. So again, the wonderful part over here. So the quick labeling over here. So if I show you over here what I mean by here, this is my data. To my phone number over here, phone number is like this. Wow. So you can see that different people have put it into a different fashion. So somebody has put his phone, put hyphen. So what I did is I labeled them. And after labeling it, I said run. So it's an interesting way of actually standardizing the data. So what we're doing is typical, the way of standardizing the data is first to remove the noise and then make valid. So I'm removing the noise. So you can see over here, what we got over here is called SS. Side over here called XXXS. So wherever the data is being labeled for us. And then the next step is that another transformation over here. And we're going to do is a standardizer transformation. Standardization transformation, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that as a go and help me in get. So why don't you go and help me to get rid of X and that's anywhere. So wherever, anywhere you remove them, and I said finish over here. And if I right click over here and run data viewer, see that I'm left with only the numeric values. So the noises have been removed now. Okay. So if you don't believe me, you have to do it like this. Run profile now. So you analyze the data and run a profiler now. So this is what we call midstream profiling. So you can do profiling in the middle of your different process. So as you're developing, you are doing the profiling. Going to the results. So it looks like this, but I generally prefer that whenever you're doing the numeric values, don't look for values, check for patterns. All the patterns are the 9 patterns are now. I love that. All the patterns become a numeric pattern for me now. So I don't have any X, I do not have any symbol in this case. This is great, what we have over here. I love this part. So not that. So we are able to remove all the noises. So typically first step is to remove the noise, and the next step is always to standardize the data. I further standardize this a telephone number to make it 10 digits. So looking at the country code, city code, I can make them standardize in my future steps, or what we call the accuracy of the data. You can make a data as a valid data as you move further into it. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, what we offer you over here is another transformation that is which basically helps you to duplicate records. So like you have, so that there are 2 ways to work with it. We have a different types of transformations over here. So you can see over here we got consolidation, data masking, data processing, exception transformation, expression, joiner. So very, very similar to what we have in first we got key generator, and we over here a transformation called a match transformation. Match transformation, and using this match transformation, what I can do is I can get quickly get you is a duplicate record. So let me quickly see if I can get quickly one for you. So select all. push this data as input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a duplicate records for you. So match transformation, using the match transformation, I'm going to find a duplicate records for you. So match types, I'm quickly doing it so that you can on to duplication of the data. So quick doing the identity match here, so that we can do it in a very quick fashion. I'm doing it here. Partitions to work with good. Some key type is first name. Key field is so contact. Level standard and key search. No, let me be typical. So typical and the strategy is find detect. So we're going to find a duplicate contact over here. So I'm just configuring the transformation. How we can find the duplicate. So if there is any images with a duplicate value, so we get it very quickly. So that's an idea. Contact 1, we're going to contact 2, and we're going to about a address. So some of the data, so I did a typical configuration of transition over here, and we say finish over here. Run this so run data viewer. So that's another area where we will find to deduplicate the records. So what we will do is we are going to see that are we able to find some duplicate records here? There's some big volume of data, so we are trying to find the duplicate into it. So cluster ID is the important one. So the records with the similar cluster ID. Records are with the same similar cluster ID means these are the records which have duplicate values. So you can see over here. So we have to find that these records are duplicate records for you. You will see that there is some kind of a variations in their name. Robin, Rob, variety. So we say that there seems to be the same information. So we find the duplicate records here. So for Harry Miller and Harrison Miller, so we're able to find that they are duplicate records. And over here that also so almost same addresses. This is he's using Harry Miller, here he is using Harrison Miller. But here he is using Equate and here he is using Equate incorporation. So but we are able to quickly get it for you that this to be a duplicate records over here. Okay, it's what we call deduplication of the data. So even you have variations in the names and other things like Robin, Rob. So blah, some information is there. I take you to the left here, we got over here. So we'll match it, and based on the matching, we give you that. Since 808, 809, 801, 801, 805, 807. So you can start FFA, F dot A dot F A dot A, FFA, FFA. So looking at these values, we can quickly come across that these are duplicate records. So we can deduplicate records very quickly using these transformations. That's where the data quality comes. This dimensions. So I give us to share those 6 dimensions with you. What are the 6 dimensions of Informatica data quality? The 6 dimensions which we discussed about were conformity and consistency and accuracy. That comes with the data standardization, and the next part which comes is duplicating the data. That is what we do. We showed you as a part of example of it here. Good. It's 12:25 by my watch. 5 minutes for the questions now. Questions after your well, please now. So, what comes to your mind? You're most welcome to ask me those questions now. Just this next 5 minutes is how to collaborate developer designer job with the power center mapping. So team divide this entire developer designer job can be exported to Power Center, and Power Center becomes a maplet for you. So you can use that maplet in the Power Center mapping. So that is easily done. No deal into it. So you can export it as a maplet, and you can put it as a maplet into your DQ process. So as you put it into part of your DQ process, you will be in good position to use it. No big deal. Okay. Easy. Just right-clicking and exporting this as a maplet, whatever the business logic you did. And Informatica Data Power Center doesn't need any support from data quality in general. It will become in the native environment of Power Center. Yeah, run on the native environment. Don't worry about it. Good. Yeah, so I believe that I answered that question. So how to collaborate developer jobs with Power Center mapping? Easy. Data helps in a table. Is there a provision here? Often normalizing data helps in a table. I do not understand what you mean by normalizing data helps in a table. Is there a provision here? So I do not know which actually I would like to answer, but we have a transformation here called normalizer transformation. So we have a normalizer transformation which helps you to normalize the data. So don't mind it. So if you have a really complex data, typically you can normalize the data with us using a transformation called normalizer. Let me just see if I can show it to you. So if I zoom over here, so there's a concept called normalizer here. We got a normalizer transformation here. So this transformation will give you an opportunity to normalize the data. It is here. So you think we have the capability to do the job? So yes. So you can normalize the data with us. So if you have a data in the form of a row, so we can convert this row data into a multiple column data. That's normalized data for you. You normalize a transformation. Even if you have a multiple levels, for example, in a college, or have a quarter, in a year you have a quarter, in a quarter you have a month, and in a month you have a week. So if even your data is split into multiple levels, we can pick this data and normalize this data using the normalizer transformation. Not a big deal with us. It's very easy. We can do it very quickly for you. We can normalize the data. So different process should be included in DQ process while exporting DQ job to Power Center job. So I do not understand what you mean by in German, whatever different process should be included in DQ process, export DQ jobs to the Power Center jobs. So typically, if you ask me, we are looking for these 6 values. So all the transformations which are largely supporting the completeness, conformity, consistency, and deduplicating the data. These are the DQ process which you need to export to a Power Center, because Power Center, to completeness, conformity, and consistency, you have to write a bunch of regular expressions. It will take you ages to write those expressions. So wherever there is a requirement of standardizing the data and there's a requirement of deduplicating the data, us to take the DQ process into the Power Center here. Because this job in Power Center is a Herculean. It takes you ages to write such piece of code which we have done for you in quality. So which can be done in data quality in 1 hour can be taken like a year in Power Center to write an equivalent code. But the code is ready, it can be reused, but to write as a similar code will take you a good time. We recommend that any standardization process, any consolidation process, that duplicating, matching, and consolidation, and you can take our address validation into the Power Center. So validate the data into Power Center, you can take processes into Power Center. But to be very honest with the team, we have started calling Power Center as a classical Power Center now. So as we are calling it a classical Power Center, it will be a deprecated client. So we're not planning to have a much support into Power Center into future releases. Just for your information. So it is expected that rather than your time into the Power Center, it's a good time that you should migrate into the developer client. But the job can be done in the Power Center, can be done in the developer client now. So I don't mind stretching the session beyond 12:30. If you have more questions, you are welcome. So if you don't have any question, I wish you everyone a very, very happy new year from the whole team of Team. Question here, is that mean all Power Center transformation exists in DQ transformation? Yes. All is a very bad word, but most common transformations exist in DQ. So they are in DQ. All is a bad word, but most. So DQ in the future, so the release which I'm working with 10.1 is have all those features built into the quality developer tool now. It has the transformations built in. If you go into the decrypt, so it's not about so we have a planning to deprecate in future releases. Those are pretty much here, and I wish you a very, very happy new year from the Holding These Skills University team. You have my email IDs, you have the email ID of my organization. Welcome to ask questions there. As the relationship has just started, it was a very, very quick introduction to the product. You won't have a deep knowledge onto it, please do some course, please do an official curriculum course through us. And nice day. Could you share your email address? I have done it so many times, so let me put it again once more. Harpreet.Singh at university.org. So let's just put it for everyone. So it is Harpreet.Singh at teambeesuniversity.org. And thank you very much and have a nice day. A very, very happy new year to each one of you.